So we've set up this table to look at the break-even car purchase, and we have all the data here, and we've sort of summarized in fixed costs for each of the alternatives and variable costs. And we're going to, in order to plot, we're going to calculate total costs, which is fixed cost plus variable cost times the quantity. And also, just to make sure I know what I'm doing and to size it right, I calculated indifference points, and the indifference point is just the fixed cost 2 minus fixed cost 1 divided by variable cost 1 minus variable cost 2. And of course we substitute different initials in here. So QPC stands for the crossover point or indifference point between the Prius and the Corolla, the Prius and the Honda for PH, and then the CH is the Corolla and Honda. And you see here that the indifference point between the Corolla and the Honda is a little over 100,000 miles, 106,667. Which one do you choose when? We are always going to choose the low fixed cost alternative first, up to the crossover point, and then after the crossover point, the variable costs will dominate. So you'll be looking at the low variable costs. So we would choose the Corolla up to 106,667, and then the Honda thereafter. So if I'm just answering the question, which was up to 100,000, then the answer is Corolla. But who knows? Management might come in and give me some different options at the last minute. So I'd like to be able to talk to them intelligently about that. So let's make our chart here, and we're going to go up to over 500,000 to show a crossover point, and so we'll make it in increments of 50,000. And we'll draw a diagram up to there. We may not be happy with this, but we'll start out looking at that, and then each one of these total costs. So it's total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost times the quantity, and the quantity is back here, and we want to lock in. Let's see, do we want to lock anything in? Yes, we want to lock in so we can copy down. We want to lock in the rows for the fixed costs and variable costs. So we'll go in here and put a $sign before our rows, and then for the quantity, I want to be able to copy this way, and so I want to lock in my column for the quantity. Actually, let's see. Yep, that's right. At least I think that's right. So does this seem right? Yes. At a quantity of 0, it would just be equal to the fixed costs, and that's true of all of them. And then let's copy down and see if this looks weird or not. And I'm expecting the crossover of Corolla to the Honda at just over 100,000, and that looks likely here. Let's see. Yeah, after this, the Honda wins, and so let's just let's plot this and see what happens. So I just highlight all of it, insert, and I'm going to try maybe a couple of different charts. I'm going to try an XY chart, and I'm going to try just the lines. And why would I do that? So if you'll notice, this chart starts with a 0, 0 origin, and that's really what I would like to see. But if I did a line chart and did the line chart like this, they don't start at 0, 0. So at least in this case, it works better if I'm going to insert an XY chart with lines, and no no markers. And the reason why you don't do markers is all of these points in terms of markers are arbitrary. I'm not going to highlight this one because yeah, it shows crossover points out here, but the crossover point here, which is the most critical one, is just swallowed up. So let's just put this one aside. I'm not going to get rid of it. So this is total cost for cars, and I could add more titles, but I don't really like this chart anyway, so I'm going to shrink it some, as if it weren't bad enough already, and just put it over here to the side. Well, let's do it again, and this time instead of this huge chart here, let's make it smaller. So let's do 10,000, and we'll just take the chart up. How this goes to 120,000, and now when you look at this chart, you begin to see the crossover point. It's still small. It's still small. So you could blow it up even more. And how would you do this? So I could decide not to start it at 0, but start it at 80,000, and maybe do 5,000 increments. So let's look at that. And that looks a little bit that's still not really good resolution. So let's do it even, and it's not really well, let's do the whole chart again. So let's do this, and we don't need it to 80,000 to 140,000. So let's do it like A to 500, and I'm going to copy these down, and let's do our chart again right from the beginning. Insert, and let's do this line chart. Well, it's still taking me, for some reason it's taking me from 0, but it's just plotting. Let's look at the format plot area, and so I want to plot this in a way that it will show up better. Unfortunately, I changed my scale to make it much larger, but we still have a problem here. So I'll show it one more time. We go to the insert line chart, and you see the Prius. Well, we've got all this scale back here, and so initially I'm hopeful that so I click on these vertical lines, which gives me actually my horizontal scale, and I say format axis, and it's showing from 0 to 120,000, but our crossover point was like 106,000. Let's say, let's go up here. Yeah, 100 and just a little less than 107,000. So again, I'll click on this, format axis, and I'll set this minimum. I could set it at 80,000, but you're going to see pretty quickly, and that's up to 112, that's not enough either. And this the Corolla and the Honda just overlay to where the charts, unfortunately, not going to show you much. Even if I got down to 105,000 and went up to 108,000, you know, they're so flat, and there's just not much difference. You might imagine that you're seeing gray on top here and orange on the bottom. I don't know. It's just hard to see. So this is one case where the chart, unfortunately, and you don't want to leave chart title. Never leave me with a chart title that says chart title. So this is total cost versus miles driven. Unfortunately, your chart doesn't show you the crossover points because the line that those variable costs between the Honda and the Corolla are just so close. So this is a case where you really need the indifference point to show you the difference. Thanks. And you know, if you were explaining that to somebody, that's what you'd say. You'd go ahead and graph it, but say, you know, these slopes are just so low that you don't get a good crossover point. Thanks.